Let's start with the New York Jets, who beat the hell out of the Bears. They're now 7-4. Again, mentioning Austin Mock. Right now, he has them with a 61% chance to make the playoffs. And that probably didn't change a lot today. They were supposed to beat the Bears. I'm sure a lot of those numbers indicated that they were supposed to beat the Bears. The obvious thing to talk about with the Jets and what's different and what's important from what happened today is that their offense with Mike White, competition considerations aside, looked better than it has at any point over the last 2 years with Zach Wilson. And I think that's a huge consideration when we're thinking about this team making the playoffs and what this team could look like if they do end up making the playoffs.
What do you think Mike White's QBR was today?
That's the one stat I don't have. I have a bunch of other Mike White stats. What was his QBR? I'm curious now.
91.7. 91.7.
91.7 QBR. Do you know what Mike White's EPA per dropback was today?
No, I want you hit me with it.
0.65. Okay.
Oh God.
0.65.
For context. Like top 5 on this. That's like top 5 in the season. It has to be.
Top 5 on the season. That's double what Tua and Patrick Mahomes are. That's double the best quarterbacks in the league.
Just meant
that's
for
how
one
good
game.
Mike White was today.
I just meant for one game.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes. I think Mahomes had like a
for one game. It's probably in the conversation.
Yeah.
So he finished 22 of 28 for 315 and 3 touchdowns. And the Bears defense today was a disaster, right?
Yeah.
You have one of the worst defenses in the league. They traded away Roquan Smith, traded away Robert Quinn a couple weeks ago. Jaquan Brisker did not play in this game. Kyler Gordon did not play in this game. Eddie Jackson got hurt in this game. Even people who love the Bears are going to have trouble naming 3 or 4 Bears defensive players that were actually on the field by the end of this one. So it's difficult to kind of parse out how much better was the Jets offense with Mike White, how much of this is the Bears being a non-existent NFL team on the other side of the ball. I do think that you can come away, even with that in mind, thinking this team wouldn't look like this or couldn't look like this with Zach Wilson at quarterback, because he still made a half dozen throws, made a half dozen decisions within the rhythm of the offense that looked significantly better than this team has looked. Just Garrett Wilson feeling like this sort of player is something we have not seen this season because of Zach Wilson playing quarterback and the limitations it's put on them.
Rhythm is exactly it. Everything felt exactly how it was supposed to be designed. Everything just felt competent. Like that's how this offense felt. It just was like, oh, there's the progress on the progression on this made sense. That's why you're seeing Garrett Wilson catching like an in-breaker, because, that's where the read took Mike White, and it was in rhythm. I don't think he barely even got hit today. And that speaks to, he only got sacked once. The fact that he wasn't scrambling a ton, like he had a couple, but it was just, you didn't need to, because he was staying in the pocket, finding the read and getting to it. Also, even stuff like breaking the huddle was better. Like that sounds stupid, but like breaking the huddle with 18 seconds on the clock because he wasn't struggling with the play call. Like I know we're piling on, and of course this should have been a get right game if Zach Wilson was playing, but the fact that it was like that, they were just like, no, we're enough. We that's what it felt like. They're like, no, we know should have a good game in this game. We're not going to have this high, variance that we might get if Zach Wilson was playing. And that's what we saw. They should have beaten the shit out of the Bears, like with who the Bears were playing today.
Yes.
And they did.
Trevor Siemian and the state of the Bears defense, they should beat the shit out of the Bears. And that's exactly what they did.
Yes.
The stat that
really, rhythm as a team.
and the rhythm is what jumps out to me. So the stat that jumps out, 2.46 average time to throw in this game, was the 3rd fastest of the week. Zach Wilson was at about 3 seconds over the course of the year, which is the 2nd highest number in the NFL. The only person who was taking longer on average to throw the football was Justin Fields. That's it. Right. And you could feel that difference in this game while watching the Jets offense. Even a small thing, the touchdown to Moore about halfway through the 3rd quarter. Mm-hmm. He's under pressure and he's having to drift to his left a little bit to complete that ball, but he's drifting while keeping his eyes downfield.
Yes.
And he's not short-circuiting when there's a tiny bit of pressure around him. So just so many aspects of the offense being functional and on schedule and on track with Mike White playing quarterback. It's not going to look like this every week. I don't think Mike White is some Pro Bowl quarterback. There's a reason that he was sitting, and there's a reason that Mike White's pedigree isn't that of a high-level quarterback. But I just think that aesthetically, statistically, every aspect of what you wanted to see from them and why they made this choice, I think it was pretty obvious today.
Yeah, there's a huge difference, and you can see this so many times, especially with young quarterbacks. And this was the Drew Lock blemish. There's a difference between wishing something open and knowing that something's going to come open. And like you said, he kept his eyes downfield, and that's what it felt like. Mike White knew every play. Mike White knew where his weaknesses were. Mike White knew all that stuff. I feel like you only could say his full name. It has to be Mike White,
Mike White, that's it. Yeah, no,
Mike White.
That's always how it's going to be.
That's how. But you could just tell nothing was wished open, and that's why stuff was catching in the flow, and that's why guys were able to create yards after the catch, and that's what this team needs. This defense is an ass-kicking defense, all three levels. Sauce had some great plays because Chase Claypool likes to jump sideways, and like Quincy.
He made the play, and I was so frustrated by it. I was like, "My man, I need you to play 6'4" like one time."
I know, that's what's so scary with him. And then, like Quincy Williams, another strong performance from him. And then of course the front has all these really good players, including Quinnen Williams. So again, this is it's a good defense. It's a defense that should be in the playoffs. Like, they have played well enough that they can hang with anybody in the playoffs. The offense just has to score when they get the opportunities. And today they did. And that's why they blew them out of the water.
Be operational. That's it. That's all I want the offense to be. And today they were, and we'll see what happens, right? Next week they go to Minnesota. They get the Bills after that. It's going to look a lot different than it did against a team that was already a bottom three defense in the league. Next, I want to see what they look like against better competition. I'm not trying to discount what he did today, but it's hard to overstate how depleted an already bad team was that they played on Sunday. But they did exactly what you're supposed to do against the team that's in that state. And I think that's pretty much my main takeaway.